All right, today we're going to talk about fats. I'm going to give you some good news. I'm going to tell you that you need to eat more fat. You need to eat more good quality fats. So why are fats so important? Fats play a huge role. They aid in our digestion. They help with satiety. So when you're consuming foods that are high in a good quality fat content, they are going to make you feel fuller for a longer amount of time, and that aids in your fat and your weight loss because you're not going to be hungry all of the time, and that's what fats are great for. And they also give you great skin, hair, and nails, and they help aid in our digestion, and they also reduce inflammation in our body. We notice a lot of people with inflammatory issues, fibromyalgia, any of the algas, tend to be, they need more fats, and that helps to reduce that inflammation that's going on internally. And so fats play a massive role. They're so important, and so it's important to listen to your body telling you and communicating with you if you need to improve your levels of fat.
In the past, fat has had a bad rap. We went through a whole low-fat, no-fat craze where we switched over all of our salad dressings and our dairy products. And all the foods we were consuming to have no fat, would be low in fat, and yet as a society at large, we got larger and gained weight. So really it's not fat that's making us fat, but we do need to make sure that we are making the right choices with fat because it can work against us. And our typical diet is high in fat, but really is low to little nutrient value, and that's where we get into trouble. We're eating, say, McDonald's would be your worst case scenario, fast food, high in fat, high in calories, and yet no nutrient value. So in an hour, your body sends that signal that we need to eat. We're hungry because it didn't receive any of the nutrients and vitamins that we were looking for in the first place. And that causes us to overeat, and it causes that cycle. So we're going to focus on the types of fats that we do need to eat. Proper oils that you can use when you're using it to heat up foods, saute foods, cook foods, versus ones that you want to use in your salad dressings and just drizzled over your foods. Also like to use fats in my morning smoothie, especially with my kids, to make sure that they're getting adequate amounts of omega-3s. So we'll just go over basically the different oils that you use. So when you're heating, cooking, sauteing foods, so for example, when I cook my eggs in the morning, I like to use coconut oil. This I actually got at Costco, this huge jar. This is great. Coconut oil is fabulous for cooking, has a really high tolerance for heat. And so this is a good source. Also like the taste of this one. And grapeseed oil is also a great one for cooking vegetables. You want to make sure though that you are not cooking them too high for too long, so the minimal use is recommended, and you don't want to reuse these when you're cooking. So you're going to use it and then discard of it, and if you're cooking again you want to use a new batch. And then we have oils that you can use over salads. So olive oil, although it does do okay to heat, I would recommend it more in your use for salad dressings. And you want to make sure that you're choosing, again, organic is best if possible, but you're also looking for dark containers. That helps protect it against the light. Okay, so you want to choose dark containers, and then you want to go for a cold pressed oil. And you also want to make sure, it's super important with your oils, that you're checking for rancidness. You want to make sure it's not rancid, and the best way to do that is through smell. You can smell quite quickly if it should be a pleasant smell. If it kind of is fishy or a little bit off, you want to discard that. That can wreak havoc on your health in a big way, and some people tend to be more sensitive to rancid oils than others, but you want to just keep check. A good rule of thumb is to keep your oils and your nuts in the freezer, and that really helps preserve their freshness. Okay. Also here I have flax seeds, so I have the raw organic flax seeds, and your body is not able to absorb it in its wholeness. So if you're using this, you want to choose the oil version, or I like to put this in a grinder and grind them up right before I use them, or keep them in the freezer is an option. Okay, so you can drizzle it over salad, because you want to keep flax seeds from heat. As soon as you heat them, they don't really do us much good. So you want to keep them raw and use them cold over, kind of as a condiment over your food is best. All right, other types of of nuts to choose are walnuts. I got this big bag at Costco. Okay, this is a great huge bag. And walnuts are one of the best nuts in terms of its omega-3s and its oil content. And pumpkin seeds are also awesome. And here I have roasted almonds, and in our house this is a favorite over our salads. So you want to roast your nuts, you want to make sure you do them yourself. You want to avoid buying store-bought nuts that have been roasted, because oftentimes the oil that they've used has gone rancid, and you want to make sure you're doing it in your home, and it doesn't take any oil to roast nuts. So I just use a cooking sheet, and I sprinkle a single layer of, I like to do walnuts and I like to do almonds, and stick them in about 300 for about 8 minutes, just until they're lightly done, and then I keep them in a container and I keep them in the freezer, and they're delicious over salads. And so that's a great way to get additional fats into your diet. And pumpkin seeds, again, you want to make sure you're having them raw. I also love this almond butter, which is what I use often in my smoothies, and helps thicken them as well. So if you're not consuming enough fish, or you're not a big fish eater, you might want to consider supplementing with a good quality fish oil. And if you are consuming fish, fish is a great source of omega-3 fatty acids. It's awesome. You want to make sure you're choosing cold water fish. And again, the smaller the fish, the better. So salmon and sardines are a great source. You do want to avoid, for the most part, tuna, because it's a large fish and so can accumulate quite a bit of mercury over its lifetime. And if you're not into fish, then that's when you might want to look into supplementing with a fish oil. And here are some krill oil. Krill is a very teeny tiny fish, and because it's so small, you have best chances of lower amounts of mercury in it. So that's why you want to choose smaller types of fish. And this is also the Nutri-C. This is a great supplement that I give my kids because it tastes good as a fish oil can taste. So there's some options for you there. And I always keep these in the car with me. I got these as well at Costco. They're just raw almonds, that's all. And so when we're in a bind and my kids are hungry, it's a great way to make sure that they're not only getting their fats, but they're getting adequate protein instead of just giving them a carbohydrate or sugary rich snack. And I just want to also touch on the cholesterol issue, because eggs, organic and omega-3 eggs, are a great source of omega-3s and healthy fats in our diet. And I know eggs have got a bad rap for causing high cholesterol, and eggs are actually a great source of protein, especially for those vegetarians out there. Eggs are great, and they do not cause high cholesterol. I just want to go over what does cause high cholesterol. Some fats that we consume do have a bit of cholesterol in them, which is actually a good thing. Cholesterol is needed for your proper adrenal function. It really helps aid in your digestion and your excretion, and it helps aid in weight loss. The trouble is, sometimes you go to the doctor and your doctor will say, oh, you have high amounts of cholesterol, and that is from consuming trans fats as well as hydrogenated fats. And those come from the types of foods, fried foods, fast food, margarine, tend to be high in trans fats and hydrogenated fats. And what happens is they actually destroy your system. So the hydrogenated trans fats are a straight line, and they actually go through your system and sort of make little cuts along the way as your body's trying to get rid of them. And that causes swelling and inflammation in the body, and your body's natural reaction is to create cholesterol. And so the more of that deterioration that you have in your membranes, the more cholesterol your body's going to produce to heal those things. That's what cholesterol does in the body. So you go to the doctor, and the doctor says, oh, you have high cholesterol, which is what your body's making to fight off the trouble with eating the types of bad fats that are in low quality foods that we're consuming. So the bottom line is, eggs are not causing high cholesterol. It's really the types of fat that we are all of us are eating. So you want to avoid deep fried foods. You want to look on the labels for trans fat, but mainly you want to look at the ingredient list, because there are certain guidelines that allow them to label a product as having 0 trans fats, when in actuality, if you look at the label, you can see that there are trans fats in that particular food, but the serving size allows it to be under a certain level so that they can market it as 0. So you want to avoid things, and it will say right on it whether it's hydrogenated or non-hydrogenated fat. Potato chips, a lot of packaged fast food, high fat, high calorie dense food tends typically to have those hydrogenated fats that you want to avoid, and instead choose healthy fats. So remember, the fats you're choosing are either going to help build your cells, your immunity, build your ability to, fats are what causes us to have great skin, great hair, great nails, and also slows the aging process on our cells. So it really helps you have that great skin quality. And if you're not choosing the right fats, then you're going to notice your hair and your nails are speaking to you, and your body communicates with you. So that's why it's really important to really pay attention to your body. If you tend to crave high-fat foods, if you notice you're craving oils and fatty foods, it's more than likely your body communicating with you and saying, hey, we need some of the good fats. So listen to that, and that all comes back to that metabolic profiling that we encourage each and every one of you to do. And we are all individual, and so some of you can tolerate and need more fats, more omega-3 healthy fats in your diet than others, and so it's important to listen to your cravings and what your body's telling you, and as well making sure that you're having good quality oil, you're keeping it in the freezer, and you're buying it often. So if you're buying in large quantities, then more than likely it's going to go badly before you're done using it, so you want to watch out for that. So hopefully this gave you some good tips on how to incorporate it. And again, salads are a great choice, and I wanted to show you this. This is our family's newest favorite. It's a kale. It's got Brussels sprouts, broccoli, kale in it, and it's a mix we actually bought from Costco. I do please throw out the salad dressing it comes with, because it's loaded with sugar, and make your own salad dressing, and then add the nuts and maybe a little bit of feta cheese if you want. It's absolutely delicious, and when we're in a rush, those crazy nights where we're all going somewhere in 5 minutes, then I pull this out, and it's a great salad treat for us, and then you get the added fats to it. All right, so enjoy your fats, and thanks for joining us.